All right, folks, so today is the week after Easter. I was able to get out this week and play a course called the Meadowlands in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's actually maybe about half an hour drive out of downtown Winston-Salem, about 40, then down 109, and then it's in a fairly decent upscale neighborhood, which means it's a neighborhoods course. And unfortunately, yes, it's a neighborhoods course, means it's got the normal stuff involved with the neighborhood. So this is a slope 140 course from the back tees, and it's actually a pretty decently challenging course without being overly so. I thought it was a good mixture of challenge and accessibility, i.e. fairways that were wide enough, shots that were decently wide, nothing too twisty or too tight, too turning, but definitely not a flat, wide open, level course with level greens and easily played holes. Some of them were fairly easy to play, some of them weren't. I thought it was a good mixture. I actually liked the course. I thought it was a very nice course. The problem with the course is that it does have quite a few houses on the back side. Not the front side, but the back side. And of course they started us off on the back side, and there was a problem because I'd gotten there at, I think, 5:15. So it was April the 16th or something like that, 5:15 to start. And the course was not really crowded, but there were certainly enough people there who were playing. It was $35 with a cart at that rate, that time, twilight rate. And that was partially because, again, the problems with providing carts due to the coronavirus, cleaning is required. But I had more than enough time to finish. It didn't get dark for quite some time later, and I had plenty of time to finish. I had to bypass a couple of foursomes, a couple of guys in their 60s or something. They were definitely playing, tournament putting. The kind of guys who are taking the putting so seriously that they take forever to putt. They weren't quite taking forever, but they were taking a good amount of time. And then the only other foursome I had a problem with after that was there was two guys out there with their kids, and the kids were like 5 or 6 years old. 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, and just bypassed them on the 17th green, which is why there are no shots of the 17th hole before the 18th hole, which tees off really kind of opposite the driving range. But so there are two things. One is there are a fairly large number of houses around the course on the backside. Just about every hole had houses either to the left or to the right, usually to the, I guess it sort of went around in a circle. Start off hitting over the lake, and then you go 10, 11, 12 down, and there's houses on the left side as you go out. And then 13, you turn back towards the clubhouse, and you go past the clubhouse, 13, 14, 15, and 16, sort of a snaky S pattern. And there are houses on the left side as you go down the 13th fairway, houses on the right side as you go down the 16th fairway, and houses on the right side as you go on the 15th fairway. On the 14th is one of the few places on the course where there are no houses, and it's really easy to notice that there are no houses because suddenly there's not much noise. You don't see any house, you don't see anyone talking. And that's a refreshing incident, which is good because that's a fairly tough hole. It's flat, but it's still a fairly challenging hole in that you have a wide landing area off the tee, and then it sort of takes a crescent left and tightens up significantly, and then goes to a green, which is right on the right side of the lake that you play across on number 10. It's a very tricky shot if you're not careful. It's easy to put the ball in either the woods or the creek to the right, and certainly if you go for the green, easy to put it back behind the green into the marsh, into the lake. So it wasn't super hard, but it wasn't really easy. It wasn't overly easy. It was definitely a decent challenge. I think for a 140 course, this course actually scored, I think, pretty well as a 140 course from the back tees, whereas the course I played before, I really don't think it was quite that hard. It certainly was not as hard as this course. This course had much more verticality. The tee shots on a lot of the holes were much tighter and longer. Still playable, but definitely required a good shot. And you get to that point where it's, are you lucky or good? And you definitely want to be lucky rather than good on this course. But the front side was very wide open, very easily played on. and very flat for the first, I would say, 2 or 3 holes, and then the last 2 holes, 8 and 9. But still had some trees on 8 and 9, and then in the middle, crossing the lake for the par 3, and then going uphill for, I believe it's 4, 5, and 6, and coming down for 6 down that par 3 that comes down. So it was pretty cool. So I had a lot of fun playing it. A lot of fun playing the front and back side, although there was a little bit of good old boy action going on the lake on the front side. And, you know, a bunch of guys, young guys and older guys sitting out there fishing on the lake. And one of them was talking during my backswing on number 8, you know, talking about the other guys could go get some good fish, and just kind of ignoring the fact that I was teeing off there. But, you know, it's kind of life, how it is. Like I said, when you play around neighborhood course, you have to be willing to accept the fact that the residents are going to walk their dogs on the cart paths, go walking around the cart paths and stuff like that. Just kind of take it for granted. They see you as more of an interloper on their park than someone who they should, you know, at least let play through without too much trouble or too much interference. And in fact, there was one guy who was literally sitting on his deck. It was a nice house, I'm not going to deny it. Nice deck, nice house, had his 2-year-old kid running in the backyard. He's sitting there in a lounge chair, just sweet home Alabama, just, you know, just getting into it, you know, sitting on the back deck while I was trying to tee off no more than 50 yards from him. You know, what can you do? You can't really complain. You know, you're playing through, it's their house. And right or wrong, that dynamic is always going to favor the homeowner or the neighborhood resident. So I'm still not really going to give this course a great rating. It was really nice pro shop, nice people that work there. They're very polite, very nice people. And I really think the course was a nice course. The driving range was kind of, you know, basic, just basically a square lot in the front of the clubhouse. And you play 18 across the driving range, across the back. And number 1, you have to go past the driving range, across the road, and up to the tee box for number 1. Fundamental, basic, serviceable, nothing special. It definitely was not like a really good driving range. It was okay. I mean, it was, you know, and I've seen courses with, you know, way better driving ranges than that. The clubhouse was okay. It looked like, you know, it was decent. Carts were nice. I think they were electric carts, now that I remember. So for that price especially, it was a good deal. I mean, there's no question that for $35 to play this course, it was a good deal, and I wouldn't complain too much about, you know, stuff going on around the course. But what I would say is that there's still stuff around the course, and I'd rather not have the stuff on around the course while I'm trying to play it. It's just that simple. I don't think that being a resident entitles people to act like jackasses around a golf course while people are trying to play golf on the course, and then act like, you know, that they're perfectly entitled to do that. And I think that was the attitude that really came out of it. Even though they're not thinking that they're acting like jackasses, even though they might think that they weren't doing anything wrong, you know, it's a golf course and people are trying to play golf. And if you're essentially being disrespectful, it doesn't matter whether you're being disrespectful without malicious intent or if you are being disrespectful with malicious intent. The point is, it's still being disrespectful. And I am sure that if they thought that the golfers were trying to be disrespectful to them, they would get upset about it. And it's just, you know, what level of disrespect, you know, do you think is tolerable? And I really personally would rather go play golf and not have to worry about this issue. I think it's just not something that you really want to deal with. So this is, again, a course where you play it out of convenience. It's close to the city and it's a low price, and those two things together means it's probably going to be in someone's neighborhood, or at least some neighborhood somewhere close to the city. The price you pay for playing convenient courses that are cheap to play is that you do often have to deal with this nonsense when you're trying to play. And frankly, it is nonsense. I mean, it just is. It's like going to a movie theater and having a bunch of people sit in the movie theater and laugh and yell and stuff and talk to each other, talk on the phone. I mean, they're not trying to be rude. They just are rude. You know, they're not maliciously trying to be rude. That's just how they are. that doesn't mean that you should want to put up with it or want to deal with it. And I think that that's the issue here. So I give the course is actually a pretty good course. I'd have to give it a B in and of itself. It's the environment which is less than ideal. I wouldn't even literally want to think about playing this course on a Saturday. I played it on a Friday afternoon, Friday late, and it was bad enough as it was. This is the kind of course you want to get out and play early in the day, like around 11 or 12 while everybody's at work, you know. No one's sitting down on their deck. And certainly with the lockdown, that was part of it, you know. But overall, I'd still have to give this course, I don't know, somewhere around a B minus. It just was too nice of a course to really rate hard. But it wasn't all that great either. And, you know, it just wasn't in a great environment. So that's the Meadowlands in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.